The first step towards getting somewhere is to decide stay where you are. Good evening, distinguished a few eminent women in STEM named Empower, organized by IEEE Kochi Hub in collaboration with Women in Engineering. Without further delay, let me introduce you all to our speakers for the day. Firstly, we have Dr. Darshana Joshi, the founder and CEO of Ganshala International, a passionate physicist, mentor, and social entrepreneur. Dr. Joshi is committed to recalibrating the gender balance in STEM disciplines. She is presently building India's largest digital ecosystem for affordable mentoring and coaching at a scale of every aspiring, committed, talented #girl in STEM at the program Kalpana. She has obtained a PhD in physics from Cavendish Laboratory, University of Cambridge. She was awarded the prestigious Scumberger Foundation's Faculty for the Future Fellowship for Women from Developing Countries. Towards the end of her PhD, she became the first Indian woman to be elected the President of Graduate Union at the University of Cambridge. Welcome, ma'am. Next, I would like to introduce you to Khushi Goyal. She is a second-year undergraduate student at Daulat Ram College, the University of Delhi, pursuing BSc in Life Sciences. She has co-founded the STEM Factor, which is a budding community of STEM professionals, students, teachers, and mentors. She has also been a Kalpana for the STEM Fellow. She is striving to be an experimental biologist by nurturing her interest in interdisciplinary STEM education. Welcome, Khushi. Next, I would like to introduce Ms. Arundhati Krishna. Arundhati is a final year undergraduate student who is an active and enthusiastic IEEE volunteer throughout her BTech degree. She received the Outstanding Student Volunteer Award of Women in Engineering from IEEE Kerala Section for the year 2021. Welcome, Arundhati. Last but not the least, I would like to invite Ms. Vamika P. She is the PhD and Research Affairs Secretary at IIT Madras. She was awarded the Young Innovator and Teacher Under 30 by All India Ramanujan Mathematics Club. She is an interdisciplinary scientist working on data analysis with a special focus on time series analysis. She is a STEM educator who also conducts workshops for children and parents. Welcome all of you. Now, without a further delay, let's start with the discussion. So my first question will be to Darshana ma'am. University of Cambridge is one of the most prestigious universities in the world. Could you share your experience of being a part of such an esteemed institution, ma'am?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Am I audible properly? Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, great. So first of all, heartiest congratulations to IEEE Kochi Hub for organizing such an interesting panel discussion. And yeah, without going much into the formalities, I would come straight to the question. So my experience at Cambridge was really interesting in many ways. It exceeded a lot of expectations that I had before I went there, because for me, it was just not about academics there. It also gave me an opportunity to explore multiple interests of my personality, get connected with a very, very inspiring and committed community of global shapers and change makers who not only inspired me to aim higher and think beyond what I was doing, but also became one of the largest support system that I enjoy till date. So a lot of time, like, I mean, I was, before going to Cambridge, I was at one of India's premier research institution. And there I realized, like, much of the time research scholars were all about just their labs, and, their days would just go in lab. When I was going to Cambridge, one of my professors and mentors told me, Darshana, this is going to be much more beyond your lab. So make sure that you make use of this opportunity. So I just, carried those words with me. And when I went to Cambridge, for me, I got involved with student politics, activism, and also understanding and student entrepreneurship in the sense, like, so we had activities where we could actually become part of a challenge that developing countries were facing, and we would look at designing solutions for those. So I feel that that was one of the most interesting part of my experience. And then later, when I became the president of graduate union at Cambridge, which is basically the postgraduate student union of Cambridge, that gave me a very different door of opportunities. I became so there was elected position, so I defeated my contestant by 65% votes. And then with that one election, you actually become part of the board of trustees of Cambridge University. You become part of their academic council that makes decisions on designing the curriculum and on which direction the academics of the Cambridge should shape. And this is something that I had not expected, because you are a student and your voice is being given importance amid all these luminaries of the university, and your vote mattered. So when you are on that board of trustees of the university, so all that put together was a fabulous experience, and that has actually pushed the boundaries of my knowledge as well as aspiration. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So I would like to ask the next question to Khushi. How was your experience being a part of Vigyanshala, and what drove STEM factor?
Yeah, sure. I hope I'm clearly audible and visible to everyone. Yeah, good evening, everyone. So, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me here and giving me this fabulous opportunity. It's really a pleasure to be on this panel. And coming to my experience with Ganshala and answering the question, my mentor is sitting right here. Darshana Dey is here. She is the founder of Kalpana Chawla STEM, by which I got an opportunity to actually be associated with the Ganshala International. And it has been around 10 months now. It started in May, and now it's February, and it's been like 10 months, and I have been in this beautiful association. And I wouldn't like resist myself to admit it that it has been actually the most meaningful and most significant association in my academic journey so far. The way Kalpana program has shaped my perspective towards STEM and towards like uh, a professional life in general has been like entirely different. I felt like deeper love with STEM through the sessions that we had during entire Kalpana, the way the mentor interaction happens. So if I like go about a little how we started with the journey, we started with a basic group of around 5 6 mentors, 5 6 students who got associated with a mentor, and we had regular interaction on weekly basis where we got to like introspect a lot, that what exactly our aspirations are, how exactly we want to shape our careers, how and what are the things that we actually need to focus upon to be where we actually want to see. And that is something that every student needs to get a push, to get an external support, to actually give wings to their dreams, to give wings to their aspiration. And that is what Kalpana and Vigyanshala has provided me. They have given me like a great space where I can learn, where I can grow, where I can like be inspired and actually communicate my ideas with people. We had a space where we used to have regular discussions on Sundays, where we used to have invited speakers for us, and we got to know a lot of role models that we can actually look after, because that's something that we face in STEM, that since there is a gender gap, we can say, in our country basically, or in the world in general, we do not like get people to get attached with. We do not get enough people to know whom we can relate to, and from their journey we can inspire. But Kalpana, like, they tried to build up a community where we can actually listen to the journeys of people who have struggled through their lives and have reached somewhere. So it has like really been a great experience. And coming to like what drove us to start STEM Factor is something like very similar. Since I am an undergraduate student and I come from a like tier 2 city, I'm from a middle class background. We are not very privileged to like go to expensive coaching institutes and everything, and we actually get uh, a lack of information and lack of resources on so many terms. Like if I were to talk in general, in India, there is a perception that if you are taking science or you are like taking PCM as a subject, the only thing you can do is go for an engineering degree and pursue an engineering degree. But there are a lot of other options available for a person who studies STEM other than that. So we just wanted to create a community where we can spread information about all these resources. We started an Instagram page, and that also like got support from Ganshala. Darshana supported our page, and I'm happy to like say that STEM Factor is actually incubated under Ganshala as a budding organization, and we are like getting regular mentorship support from them. We started a series on an Instagram page called 20 Days 20 STEM Institutes, where we actually focused upon those institutes other than like IITs. These are well-known institutes, but there are so many institutes in India which offer really good like curriculum and really good infrastructure. They have really great opportunities for students, but students are not aware for them. So we are just trying to build up a community by which we can aware students and like being make STEM more inclusive for all genders, for all communities, and yeah, and grow together. So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So my next question goes to Arundhati Krishna. So how did you get to know about and join numerous internships in your college life, and how did you manage to find time in doing everything?
Thank you so much, Nitya. I hope I'm audible and visible.
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So regarding the internships, I get this question a lot. Before I get into how I get a lot of internships or anything, I just want to confirm why I do a lot of internships and project. The sole motivation behind doing a lot of internship was to set up a great profile. Being frank to all the participants who are attending this panel discussion at the moment, I do not have an outstanding GPA to showcase when it comes to your academic progress. I'm an above average student. So when it comes to a professional domain, you're transitioning from your college to professional domain, it was very clear to me that I should have either the experience, project, or the achievement section of my resume, CV, portfolio, or my profile as a whole. I wanted these three sections to highlight so that whoever is going through my profile gets stuck at all these sections. So that was the reason behind doing a lot of internships in the first place. Secondly, how I get into a lot of internships, I would say the best and the easiest way is to have a proper rapport with your seniors and alumni, because they are the people who know you the best. They have been through your situation, and your situation is or your circumstances are very relatable to them. So they can help you with a lot of internship opportunities, either at the companies they work or either at the companies they own, or they could direct you or suggest you some other companies. So have a proper rapport with your seniors and your alumni. So that's the first thing. Secondly, you need to be active at platforms. I would say LinkedIn in particular, because that is where I got a lot of internships myself. But if you are someone who is more into communicating with people, you love communicating with people, then you can extend your connection to platforms like Shaper. Shaper is a professional networking platform, or maybe the business section of Bumble as well. These are two examples. There are a lot many. You could explore the options, but I would suggest you to use LinkedIn for sure, because LinkedIn is where you get a lot of opportunities when it comes to career, job, internships, etc. Other than that, I would always suggest everybody to understand what their field of interest is. I think most of the participants in the panel discussion are students who are learning engineering, but that does not necessarily mean that all these students get into engineering as a professional domain. Some of them might be interested in marketing, management, finance, maybe content strategy, etc., etc. So the interest differs from person to person, and at the same time you need to have a proper understanding regarding which industry or company or organization aligns with your interest. So if you have a proper knowledge about that, it's as simple as maybe sending a LinkedIn message or an email to a person who works in that specific organization or the institute. Just send an email. I went through your work. I came across your work in this particular platform, and I was mesmerized by your work. I would love to contribute. Could you help me with it? or something like that. It's up to you. Personalize the email in a way that the person understands that you have an interest towards that. So I would, yeah, so that's the whole thing. Make connections and network. That is the best way to do internships and projects. Apart from that, be active on platforms like LinkedIn, Shaper, etc. Yeah, and maintain your LinkedIn profile, maintain a proper portfolio, maintain a proper CV and resume. Keep it handy, keep it always handy. Yeah.
Thank you, Arundhati. So, next question goes to Vamika, ma'am. So, ma'am, as a data scientist, what would you recommend to be the steps a student should take, and where should they start to pursue a career in data science?
Good evening, everyone. So hope I'm audible clearly.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for taking up this initiative and bringing together, four wonderful women together on the same panel. And I see that all four of us are like having various, coming from varied backgrounds. And here we are here to share similarity of experiences. It could be different domains, but still we are talking about how to empower yourself, right? So uh, to talk about my journey in data science. So I actually did not pursue data science, like I did not study to come here and become a data scientist. So I have a very interdisciplinary background. So both my bachelor's as well as master's is in different domains. And currently I'm doing a PhD in data science. So the way I chose to be in this field, it's not because it's trendy or just to go with the flow. So it was because I enjoyed working in different domains. So I thought data science is the best option for me because it will always give me the flexibility to work with different domains and learn different things. So what I would like to suggest for someone who is aspiring to become a data scientist is to first have an intuitive way of looking at things. So, if we can see, there are a lot of people who teach data science courses. There are various organizations offering certified courses and all this. But finally, what matters is beyond knowing all the tools, it's important to gain this way of intuitive way of looking at things, how you can connect the dots. So, more than actually you know how to use the tools, it is very important to understand what you're doing and what you're supposed to do. So the best way of learning is to play with different data sets, or like just go with the flow, start from where you are and take it slowly. So even if you're learning, say, a few packages or few methods, so try to understand the fundamental concepts of how the algorithm actually works. And of course, like doing several things parallelly is also a skill to master. But if you are able to learn this intuitive way of looking at things, it will definitely take you uh, to far places. So second thing is, in order to first thing is to play on your own, like take different data sets. And uh, of course, there are many open source codes or packages available and notebooks available. So you can try practicing and analyzing things and getting insights from data. And until you grow, say until you grow in the sense like feeling confident about yourself, feeling confident about the way you can actually talk about the subject. So until you grow, keep taking up opportunities which come in your way, that you believe will actually enhance or give you a different perspective of it could be in the form of internship or a mentorship program, or any kind of opportunity which comes in your way. And it is really not necessary that you have to actually take a paid course or something. So because there is a lot of information available out there which is good and also like freely available. So and when you approach people for like internships, or you're looking for support for some guidance from well established mentors, so you have to actually approach them with a purpose, because someone is giving your time, right? Whether it's paid or it's free, it's still someone is giving your time, and you have to have some kind of idea of what you exactly want from them. and what you're actually looking for and where you actually want to see yourself in the next, after the guidance or so-and-so program. So building such meaningful collections with people rather than, that is the difference between looking for an opportunity and actually building a meaningful connection with an organization or an expert. So these are my suggestions.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I would like to ask Darshana ma'am that what was your inspiration to start Ganshala International?
Hello. Yeah, so is it audible? I've just switched on my earphones. I just
Yes,
wanted to
ma'am.
make sure. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
good. So thank you for that question. That's a very interesting story how I started Ganshala International. I was hearing Arundhati tell, how sharing opportunities and grabbing every opportunity that comes your way is really important. And also how Khushi stated, like how her lack of career guidance inspired her to start her STEM factor and also being part of Kalpana Health. So similarly for me, I come from a family where I'm a first generation learner. My father is an electrician, my mother is a homemaker, and both of them were actually farmers in Uttarakhand. So when the agriculture became non-sustainable and you didn't have enough to sustain for the entire year, my father decided to move to Delhi to work as an electrician with the municipal corporation. So we also came down to Delhi. I went to a government school, a municipal corporation school in Delhi, and then I was lucky to go to Miranda House for doing my undergraduate degrees. And it was during when my high school, when I was finishing class 11th, I got selected in a program called Udyan Shalini Fellowship from a Delhi-based NGO called Udyan Care. So they supported my studies from class 11th until I finished my bachelor's. And also when I got to Cambridge, they partly supported they were the first guarantors who said, like, whether you get a scholarship or not, we are behind you. And because of that guarantee, I ended up getting a lot of the scholarship. So it was their belief, in a way, which created opportunities for a first generation learner like me to actually even dream of going to Cambridge or, eventually making it there. So that guidance and that mentoring always stayed with me. And that somewhere deep down always inspired me to paying it forward, whatever privilege, whatever opportunities I was getting. I was always conscious that I am part of that whole giving circle. An opportunity comes to me and I'm paying it forward by creating more opportunities. So I was supporting young girls with my master's stipend through my PhD and all. So that all stayed. And when I went to Cambridge, one of the most enjoyable things about my whole Cambridge experience was being part of science outreach activities. Me and my now husband, we both were in different countries, and we were being part of these outreach activities, and we realized that children as young as 8 years old had the opportunity to actually come and see science in action. They were able to come to our labs. They were able to see what scientists did in their laboratories. The university was very, very open to general public. We had people as young as 8 and people or even 5 sometimes, and as old as 92 years old come and listen to public lectures, be part of demonstrations and all. And that's something struck with me. And I was like, yes, I think this is a bigger way of making a difference rather than supporting 1%, 2%. So it was during my PhD, Vijay and I, we both decided that we will try to build a community like Khushi is building. So we started Ganshala as a group called Science Outreach India. Then it just slowly evolved into Ganshala, and we got grants from various science academies. Like IEEE also has an outreach grant. Similarly, SPI has. Material Research Society has, Royal Society of Chemistry has. So all the Institute of Physics, they all gave us chota grants, and through those we decided that the activities that we were doing there, we'll actually start doing them in India. So whenever I would come home, say I was coming to India for 5 weeks, out of that 4 weeks would actually going to different parts of the country, doing these activities and all. And in 3 years time, we were able to engage something around 8,000 plus students from all the way from Chennai to Tripura to Bihar, Delhi, Uttarakhand, UP, Maharashtra. So across in 7, 8 states. And that was a very inspiring thing. So when I was finishing my PhD, and then I got into the student union, and after that 1 year tenure got over, I was like, what is it that I would like to do with my life? And I realized I love science, and I want to share the joy and the enthusiasm and the opportunity science and STEM brought to me with other people, especially young girls. So that's when Vijay and I sort of decided that, okay, we'll pause our flourishing research careers at this moment. And we were encouraged by a lot of our mentors, and they were like, hey, you people can do it full time rather than just thinking part time. So we came back to India and we started with Ganshala. And that's how it started. And through Ganshala, our ambition was that we will work directly with undergraduates like you all here in audience today. We will empower you to share your science to, so that science is not something people are afraid of from a young age, but rather something that people see as a everyday phenomena, and which can inspire them to create a better world through them. So, the vision at Vigyanshala is like, we believe that everybody deserves the opportunity to create a better world through science, and that's the opportunity we want to bring for every student. And now, like through our program Kalpana, we are working exclusively with girls, and we are building one of India's largest digital ecosystem for providing you career counseling, guidance, mentoring, connecting you to opportunities in the industries as well as research, this thing, and also inspiring you to start thinking of entrepreneurship. Because see, in the last 4 or 5 years in India, like I think about 8 years now, with the whole Indian startup mission and all, there's a huge flood of innovators and entrepreneurs. And I think a lot of you also saw the whole Shark Tank thing and all. One thing that struck me is we don't have enough women entrepreneurs. And especially if you start thinking of STEM related entrepreneurship, we are even lesser in numbers. So whatever you are learning, think about applying it in the society. That movie is there, na, Amir Khan, what is it called? Yeah? Three Idiots, right? In which he just starts to build interesting things and all. So we want to make making, like building things by girls, a common phenomena, and that's why in the next 10 years I want at least 1 million, yani ki 10 lakh girls to take up making in their hands, start building things. If you're not getting an internship, build something at home, make it part of your CV. It will not only help you internalize the concepts that you learn in class into building something, but it will also, like as Arundhati said, look good on your CV when you go for an employment. Or who knows, the product that you're building may be the next startup, the cool startup in the town. So don't be afraid. And boys are found to be doing more such activities. A lot of young founders, 30 under 30 and all those things, are 70 to like 60% boys. And it's time that you all also come together. So that's what Vigyanshala wants to enable. And that is my inspiration behind establishing Vigyanshala, that I want to make STEM and innovation and the ability to make, break, and create an everyday household phenomena, a dining room conversation. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So now I would like to ask Khushi Girl that, so what are your plans for future?
Okay, so I hope I'm audible again.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, okay. So I asked Nitya actually that what exactly she wants to know about it, like only my academic plans or like about the STEM factor. So she shared I can maybe like do a mix of both, and that actually sums up that what eventually I want to do in my future. So since Darshana already mentioned that something is there, like when you are getting something from society, it comes within like from within, that you want to give it back as well. So that's one thing that I want to do eventually. At present, I am a bachelor student. I am planning to be an experimental biologist in my near future. That I want to complete I want to do higher education. I just don't want to stop learning ever. I want to continue learning forever. And I have been learning since now I'm 19 years old, and it's a long way to go beyond that. It's not been like a So I'm planning to do my master's in either like genetics or cell and molecular biology. That I will do. Then I'll go for a PhD. And side by side, I also like want to contribute to the society. Like we are planning to nurture STEM factor alongside. I'm not the like only co-founder. We are a group of 4 people that started STEM factor actually, and that was something that actually stuck while we were discussing it over a phone call one day, because like uh, since you all might know, I am like from the batch 2020 and our college started online. So we didn't actually got a chance to go on campus and meet anyone. But luckily, I got 3 people in my life. I got like introduced to 3 students, 3 fellow students from my class who are as enthusiastic and as like lively as I am. I can say we match, my energy matches with them. So one day we were discussing about a competition, and then we started discussing about like how these people are like so privileged. They get these opportunities. They are able to go to like foreign universities right after they 12. They are aware of these universities. They are aware like they can do this particular thing, because what happened was we got to know about so many courses that we might have applied for, but we were not aware for them. Like I applied to BSc Life Sciences, but that was not my first choice. I wanted to do a course in uh, I want to do biological sciences in general. I wanted to do a more interdisciplinary course, but I somehow I didn't get to. I only got to know that it is the only one university that offers that course, and I was not able to like apply for it because I was not eligible enough. My scores didn't match or some sort of thing. But later I got to know that there were other universities as well where I could have applied if I have known. So that's something, that there is a gap of resources and there's a lack of information that we want to build up. So while I'll be working on myself, creating a career path on myself, I'll be like doing my education alongside. I also want to like channelize these resources to other people, to my juniors, to my fellow mates who can alongside like work by me. So that's one thing. And yeah, and I also like aspire to be in policy making someday. I want to like get into Indian administration, because like I'm very fond of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. You can say he's a great man. I have wings on my file on my study table all the time. I read his autobiography, and that I'm like really inspired from him. The way he served the society, the way he loved his subjects, the way he's called the rocket man of a country, and the way he started all these projects, the way he contributed to ISRO, that's something like that really inspires me. So I plan to do it eventually, like something similar. Maybe I want to give back to society, but I don't know how it. So the why is clear, the ultimate goal is clear, but how is I'm still trying to figure out. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I would like to ask Arundhati ma'am that what does STEM mean to the education process and culture of a school for students, and how to incorporate the practical version of the same alongside your academic curriculum?
Okay, so considering that majority of the students and young professionals out here, they all belong to the STEM field because they are all are learning science and technology in one way or the other. But again, the amount of practical knowledge the students gain from their curriculum is pretty different, and it depends on the college or the university they belong to or they study at. Given that, when you keep your curriculum as a constant, we can park the question into two, I believe, like what the institution where you study can help you with and how you can learn and apply whatsoever you learn outside of your curriculum. Starting with the first one, your college or your university can actually help these students to excel in STEM by actually giving them practical sessions, which I believe is lacking or it's not sufficient to increase the knowledge. As Darshana ma'am had rightly mentioned, the amount of women entrepreneurs is very less. Recently, Entrepreneur had released 35 under 35, and I was so shocked to see the list. Majority of them were men. But again, I think a main reason is that women have opportunity within their college and their university. So going outside of that, I don't think many of the girls are given the permission to, stay away from home or maybe do an internship or practical session outside of their home or far away from their home. As the chances are more for men to do that because of family, etc. And I think the university and college can contribute a lot to this aspect of education by including a lot of practical sessions outside the curriculum, depending on the interest of the student. I understand that every university or college might be having external community support. For example, there might be IEEE, then we have IEDC, or you have Tinker Hub. If it's in Kerala, you have Tinker Hub, and I believe there are such communities outside Kerala as well. So all these communities have made an impression within the college and universities, and they are helping students to gain practical knowledge. I would say that the students should make maximum utilization of all these opportunities. Outside of college, there are a bunch of things that you could do to inculcate a practical knowledge into your whatsoever you are learning. Starting with, you need to have a mentor. I would say at least one mentor you should have who will give you a clarity of thoughts. So you need a mentor. You need to identify what is your field of interest. You need to have a clear-cut idea regarding what all areas are you ready to explore, and then you need to reach out to people and ask whether they're happy to help you or happy to mentor you. I believe majority of your seniors or maybe your alumni or someone even outside your connection circle might be ready to help you, because they also wish to help students out, because they might have also been in your similar situation. So having a mentor can actually solve a lot of issues, because they will give you a clarity of thoughts. I started doing internships from when I was in my second year. From then, I've completed 5 internships in both technical and non-technical aspects, along with 2 part-time jobs and 1 freelance job. So in all these areas, apart from this, I was involved in a lot of other communities like Global Shapers Community, IEEE, etc. So from all these communities, you gain a network of people. The thing is, you need to talk to them, and maybe your mentor is among them itself. So when I was in my second year, I got my first internship through a senior of mine at that time. His name is Rauf Naushad. So he gave me entry to Accubits, which is a company, and it's out here in Trivandrum. And my then position was the intern in the bioinformatics department. I am an electronics and communication student. But when he asked, like, are you willing to do this? I was like, yeah, why not? Because you need to have, there are 2 kinds of people, I believe. One who might be stuck, in a position where they do not know which area to concentrate. I was in that position back then. I did not know where my interest lied. I knew what I did not like, or what is the ultimate thing I wanted, but I was not clear of which path to take. So back then I was ready to explore anything. So I got into Accubits. I was doing bioinformatics. It's very far away from electronics and communication. I did a lot of molecular docking, came across a lot of softwares introduced to me. And from then, I shifted to artificial intelligence and machine learning, in which I'm developing an optical character recognition model at the moment. And perhaps after a few months, I'll also be involved in a blockchain department of the same company. At the same time, I've done internship in some other companies, and my area is totally different. From all these companies, I've come across people who will make me understand, which all courses to take, which all areas to read. So you need to have people who give you an idea regarding that. And I visibly see a lot of my friends having an inhibition, going out and asking people for help. I think the mentee-mentee relationship is more of a symbiotic relationship. It's more of a give and take thing. So I think that is one thing. Outside of that, there are a bunch of things the students themselves can get involved in. If you are studying in a college or school or whatever, you are studying biology or you are studying biotechnology, but you have interests in electronics or computer, you can sign up in platforms like maybe Coursera, Udemy, edX, anything, and you can learn anything for free out there. I would say that certification costs you money, but all these platforms gives knowledge for free without certification. At the end of the day, the knowledge is what that matters. So you need to have the patience to set up a goal for yourself and learn things on your own. So I think that's what Vamika also mentioned. Like, you have a lot of resources out there, and you need to take your time and understand what you need, and you need to try and learn things on your own. When you have doubts, you reach out to people and ask for help. People are always ready to help. So yeah, I think that covers the question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So now I would like to ask Vamika ma'am that could you please share your journey to being awarded the Young Innovator and Teacher Under 30 by All India Ramanujan Mathematics Club? Ma'am, you are on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, hope I'm audible now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, maybe I'll give a little bit of my background as well in order to better connect to the story. So, as I mentioned, like my background is quite interdisciplinary, and not just quite. It's like it has quite extremes as well. So, I'm the kind of person who actually tries to explore a lot of things. So there are two ways of experts, right? The first type is someone who knows everything about something. So uh, those kind of specialists. So I am the other type. Like I try to, carry myself over different types of fields, and I try to collect knowledge from different domains. So that was my only that was just my I wouldn't say recipe, that's just my way of living. So I like to learn a lot different things. So some things which I have done is of course my technical part. So in my profession, that is one factor. So I've been in bioscience domain. So I've been working in microscopy, and I spent a couple of years in National University of Singapore. And I've also spent around 5 years in Bangalore, where I was working in both corporate and startup spaces, specifically in the fields of medical devices. So this is one part. So the second part is like I am a designer, so I am into arts, and I like creating. I basically create content for different startups. So how this basically helped me is to actually understand how different startups work, because uh, content designer is only one aspect, but you get to learn a lot of things about different startups, how they function and what kind of products they deliver, and what is their mode of operation, and a lot of things. So this experience, actually, I would say it helped me so much in learning the journey of different founders. So yeah, this is basically a hobby which became, it just it actually, I wouldn't say it's a side hustle or something. It's just that when my friends or founders ask, like, hey, I like your design, can you do this for me also? So that's how it started building. And this is my second part. And third part is, of course, STEM outreach. I am very active in STEM outreach, especially using the arts medium. So I create comics, I create videos, and try to bring some humor elements. And I've also done more than 50 workshops for both uh, children as well as parents, like mixed workshops, which help people to actually feel that science and mathematics are interesting, and how they actually really connect to life. So these are quite a few things I've done, and currently I'm yeah, for the past 2 years, I've again come back to the mode of a student. So I'm currently doing a PhD in IT Madras. So, and I'm also the research affairs secretary in this semester. So I've been continuing to do a lot of things, not for money, but for my own student community, and I feel very happy about this. We do a lot of what to say. Uh, Professional development sessions, specifically to address the gaps in researchers. And yes, ma'am, sure. Thank you. So yeah, we do a lot of sessions specifically to address the gaps of researchers related to mental health, how to handle, how to get financial freedom. And yeah, so and in terms of the other skills which a researcher needs to gain apart from, like being a part of publication or just adding your name as co-author in just another journal, of course that's going to help. with your impact factor and all this, but beyond that, what is going to help is your overall development and what is the personality you have after your graduation, specifically if you're having an advanced degree in such a niche field. So we are also working on a digital campus project in which we are trying to build like a 3D version, a web version of our campus. So, and I'm happy to be involved in this as well. So yeah, coming to these awards and recognition, I really understand and I also accept that this recognition is quite I would say limited, very much limited. So I would like to thank the society, on behalf of all, the overall women community, because I'm happy to say that I have 3 awards in my name. Like I don't want to say that I've done complete justice to that or not, but as a community, I want to thank whomever has organized these kind of recognition events. So I understand their forethought in appreciating women who are actually stepping their foot a little, taking that extra mile. So the idea is to actually connect more such women together and like to, of course there are a lot of things going on, but the how change happens is it starts from our daily life, right? So even if you do a small even a small gesture of ourselves to someone who is in the pursuit of something, it could be, it need not necessarily be money or fetching them a job, it could be even just a piece of sharing one of your experience or just shed one page from your diary, so it's going to help them a lot. And we should also understand that we will one will not lose anything by actually sharing something, but you will always gain more by talking and sharing your experiences with others. So last thing I would like to say is explore a lot before you settle down, because as a girl, there are a lot of factors which will actually decide your success, not just your ability, but also your community and who is going to be around you and what kind of support you will have from them in terms of it's very difficult to actually get an intellectual partner, like say for example you have extremely good ideas, you actually need someone who will actually uh, understand you at that level, rather than having of course girls make a lot of friends, but having an intellectual partner who actually respects and believes your ideas and like gives you the right criticism as well as the necessary enthusiasm and energy to actually pursue that idea. So finding that kind of people is kind of rare, and it will take time, and as we say, miracles do happen, and definitely you will end up finding such if you believe in yourself and your idea, and if you keep pursuing your goals, definitely you will find those kind of people. Because I have also faced a lot of rejections. Like there were certain periods in my life when uh, everything around me used to be so dark that I used to think that what am I really worth of? So that is one stage of life which everyone has to go through. And we never know what will be the other side of the story unless we keep continuing the story. So never stop writing your story. Keep continue writing your story. And it's not just important for you, it's also important for the people around you to actually keep the flow going. And yeah, that's it for now.
Thank you, Vamika ma'am. All our panelists today are from a wide range of backgrounds, but one thing they all share is their love for STEM. So now we have a few questions for all of you. And the first question is, succeeding in this competitive world is not an easy task for anyone, especially in a country like India, where gender equality is still a distant goal. It's more difficult. So, what were the difficulties you had to overcome as a woman in STEM? So, first go with Darshana ma'am. Ma'am, please.
So thank you for that interesting question, because we all are girls who have been through various challenges. As Vamika was just mentioning earlier. So in my part, there were a lot of, like, I think some of you will be able to relate with what I'm about to say. So the first and foremost challenge, I would say, was lack of information, right? So you don't know where to start from, what are the career opportunities, where you should go. You don't see enough relatable role models. For example, when I was growing up, the only women in STEM role model per se I knew was Kalpana Chawla, and she, or otherwise Mary Curie and all those things. But someone whom I could relate to was Kalpana Chawla, and had it not been for her, I wouldn't have dared to think that I can be someone. And her story from a small town in Haryana to NASA is actually awe-inspiring for every aspiring girl in India. So yeah, lack of information was the first one. The second one was, of course, the family challenges. How do you, like, you found a path for yourself? How do you actually make your family understand, especially for students like us who are first generation learners? Their parents mostly go by what they hear in the society and all, and they don't really understand the wingspan of your dreams is really big. Okay, so it is not just about the next job or about the next internship or being staying in the same city or an admission. It is way bigger. Your vision for yourself is way bigger. So I think that's another thing, like trying to convince my parents. For example, when I got selected into this integrated PhD program right after my BSc, I was among one of the 5 students who were selected from all over India, and my family was like, hey, everybody comes to Delhi to study. Why do you want to even go to Bangalore? And today you are saying, I'm going to Bangalore. Tomorrow you will say, I want to go to US and England. Will we allow you or what? Like, literally, these were the words. Like, they were really apprehensive that their girls shouldn't go. And so I think it's really important that you understand these challenges will keep happening, and sometimes you will upset a lot of people. Okay, so I really upsetted my parents when I said I really want to go to Bangalore and I'm not listening to you, and they were wild, I would say. So I think it's so this is another second challenge that I had. Let me just look at the question what you said. Yeah, so what are the challenges, how I overcame them? So I think having a support system is really, really important, that that identifies with your goal as a woman in STEM, that gives you the constant energy. So surround yourself with people who uplift you, not the people who will say, hey, she's just trying to be too over smart and doing 10 different things and all. It's okay, do 10 different things that you like, and it's absolutely fine, because that's how you will find your purpose and meaning in life. And have a community who basically uplifts you every time you fall. So lack of information, family resistance, and not knowing enough about who are the other women before me who have walked the path were some of the challenges. Then I think when I said, okay, I wanted to pursue physics, I was going to do a PhD in physics, people would be like, oh, wow, you're doing a PhD in physics. It's so hard. Why are you going into physics? There are very few women, but women study biology and all, or maximum do an IT degree or something like that, they would say. So going into physics was not really a thing that people considered, would be for girls per se in my family. Are like, hey, you've done your BSc, now go do B.Ed and become a teacher. It's not that I love teaching. I don't have, I'm not saying that being a teacher is not a good option, but that was just not my dream, right? So even now when I'm starting and building Ganshala, people are like, you could have been earning so much money had you been, into a job in the West, or even if you are a professor or something. Why are you putting yourself through this path? So I think that resistance to your dreams and the wingspan of your dreams will always be there. So take criticism always with a pinch of salt. Never ever let it berate your dreams. Okay, people will criticize. Sometimes the criticism will actually bring out the best in you also, because you will know where you were doing mistakes. So if you think something is constructive criticism, take it, work on it, and improve yourself. But if you know that it is not constructive criticism, just shrug it off. Like, don't waste your mind and energy on that. And that applies to, I think, everything. And being surrounded with people who believe in you, who believe in your dreams, and who are going to walk a similar path, like not the same path, but similar path is important. Because when you have a supportive community who can understand your challenges, who can relate to what you are going through, your path becomes a lot easier. Like, I mean, I love saying this. Like, suppose if you have a big boulder, okay, and you're pushing it alone, it is very difficult. But if you have a few more people, few more hands who are pushing it, your efforts get reduced, but your outputs get multiplied. So any challenge that comes in your life, think of it like this big boulder, and rather than having to fight it alone, look around for people who can actually support you in your mission. And as a woman in STEM, being surrounded with that supportive community is very, very important. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So now let's dive into Khushi, ma'am. Ma'am, please.
I don't think something is left to say. Like Darshana has covered almost majorly all the things. Like lack of information is there, the sources are there, then there's like family thing, and that's something that I would like to emphasize on maybe because like uh, coming to like a little backstory. When I was in class 11th, when I moved to from 10th to 11th, and that time we are supposed to choose streams. So that was clear at my home that I want to pursue science, and I wanted like at that moment I wanted to be a dermatologist. I used to like say in my abide in my house that I want to do MBBS and I want to be a dermatologist. But alongside, I also wanted to like explore things because that was one thing that just came out of a like that was a trigger. Actually, I have a like skin disease. I have been suffering from a skin disease from like when I was 2 years old, and I used to like I had pus all over my body. And whenever we used to like my father and mother, they have like visited almost every possible doctor in town and nearby, whatever we can approach, but we haven't got any like proper cure to that disease. So whenever we used to visit to a new doctor, he used to say that it's something like कुछ जेनेटिक है मतलब पापा के मतलब कुछ खून में कमी है. I had blood purifiers but it didn't help for years. So one day my brother told me, but it was like I was in class 9th, I remember, and I went to my cousin's place, and one day he told me that yeah, your body looks awful, matlab, your hands and legs look, because it actually looked awful. I had like first, it's a lot better now for like God's grace and everything, but it looked awful, and I was like very triggered by this at point. Like, what would you do? Like, it was, I cannot imagine the sentence, but that like really stuck. That day was, I was like, numb. Why did he say to me like that? Why can't I do anything? And then I thought like, okay, I'll do my own stuff. I'll study on it and I'll find the cure. That why is this happening and what all these things. So that's how I got into STEM. Basically, I got interested in science because like my family background is something. My grandfather was he studied PCM. He was a science student, but both of my father and mother, they are from commerce background. My father is an accountant. My mother has done MCom, but now she's an homemaker. So they don't come from a science background per se. So I was the person who wanted to do science. So that thing, they supported me. That was not an issue. They have supported me always. Like, do whatever you want to do, take whatever subjects you want to study. That has been like great support system from my parents. But when I chose when I moved to class now, I also always had a interest in maths. So I go to my teacher. We had a form that you have to either choose PCB or you have to choose PCM. I went to her and I said, I want to study both. I want to take PCMB. I will study maths and bio. She said, that's not possible. You cannot study that. I said, why? You will not be able to manage. That also stuck me, that why are you deciding that I'll be able to like study these things or not? I have my interest, I want to study, please let me study. Then she again was like, no, you will not be able to like score good marks, you'll feel that way, we cannot allow it. Then that's something ठीक है, मतलब why are you telling me that I can't use it now? So I like definitely want to do this, I want to take PCMB. Then I talked to my seniors and everything, and they said कि ऐसा कभी हुआ ही नहीं है स्कूल में, no one has like taken PCMB, you cannot study both the subjects together. Maths and biology have no like combination at all. So then I got to know from somewhere that like 5-6 years back there was a senior who studied PCMB and she scored really well. Okay, now I got to figure like she did, now I can also do, like let me do this. So that was one thing, that relatable, when we find something relatable we can actually convince other people. So that's something that gives confidence within you as well, that now you are like more confident that you can do it rather than before. So exactly like I just want to emphasize on Darshana this part, that getting someone to relate to to like whose goals maybe resonate to your goals, and whose paths maybe resonate to yours, actually gives like a direction to your wings, or actually like boost your confidence. So that boosted me up. But then the other challenge came, like, and now the family things happen. Okay, so if I am studying like these subjects, I like need to like I need some additional resource as well. Like, as you all know, that schools may there are a lot of other activities, and sometimes my teachers, like my physics and chemistry teacher, my biology teacher and maths teacher were like really good, but my physics and chemistry teacher were not that well good. I was not able to like concentrate in their class, or maybe like whatever. I needed some support, extra support, to like prepare for my competitions and everything. But at that time, like time management came in clash. Like, I am being the eldest daughter, there are some expectations from the family as well, and then I have to like look after my studies as well, and I am not able to explore as much as I want to, because of lack of like I have lack of time, and also I have lack of support and mentorship who can like actually guide me that how should I structure my entire thing, how should I structure my day, how should I like manage all those things. And that's actually get you in a trauma that maybe you are like thinking way beyond your limits. That's not something meant for you. You are not capable of doing this, and it will ruin everything. Because there used to be like days where because I don't know what I'm trying to like actually reiterate here. I'm not getting it, but yeah, that's the thing. No, matlab, sometimes you want to do something, you want to explore, but no one is there who is understanding your point, and they just start questioning your choices. So one other thing that I did was, when I chose a sort of a difficult path for me, I also chose alongside to like be a member of my student council at school. So that put an additional burden on me. I wanted to do this because I wanted to learn. I wanted to put myself in there to learn how these things actually work, because I was interested in that thing as well. But what my parents and other people were expecting me to do is take a simple path, work on it, and don't try to like expand yourself that much. So that's something that we actually face in STEM, and STEM is not something very limited to a particular subject that you do a particular degree and that's enough. There are like a lot of other things that you need to focus upon. Since like Arundhati also mentioned that if one person is doing engineering, that's not does mean that he or she wants to like go continue with engineering only, and like they can choose way many options. But to choose and to be aware of these many options, one person has to explore first. So exploring becomes a challenge when you are like restricted by certain external factors, that you maybe like your time is restricted. You are not able to you're not allowed to actually focus on these things. You are restricted that you cannot go there, you cannot like listen to these things. So that's something that actually has been facing. But how I am currently being dealing it, like every solution comes like when you make a balance. So that's what I've like trying to learn. Eventually I'm still not able to like make it a perfect balance, but I'm trying to balance all these things, that I can do my exploring thing as well, and I can like be in peace with the society and my family as well, that I can like um, fulfill their expectations as well. So maybe that's one of the things that I have been facing. I hope like I have answered the question. That was, yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now let's hear from Arundhati, ma'am.
Thank you, Nitya. Well, I could relate to a lot of things mentioned by Darshana ma'am, Khushi, as well as Vamika. Vamika had rightly mentioned, I have personally faced this issue that I get this feeling many of my best girlfriends are, unable to understand what I'm going through, because their interest is pretty much different from mine. So the lack of like-minded people has always been an issue for me. So obviously, when I was in my first or second year, the next best path was to find a mentor, which was very important for me. And then came the issue. I was like talking to a lot of people. I was trying to connect with a lot of people over LinkedIn, and this has actually happened to me. And I find it very weird to say, but majority of the people with whom I got connected were men, because my ambition has always been entrepreneurship, and I always wanted to get connected to a lot of entrepreneurs. So when I get connected to men, when I talk to a lot of them, I hear from a lot of others, like she's talking to a lot of guys, and I had to prove myself a lot by achieving a lot of things, and I had to be in a lot of posters to make them understand it's professional. You have to prove to them. Did it matter to me? Well, I was 18 or 19 at that time. It did matter to me. It did affect me a lot. But did I tell that to anybody? No, I didn't find the need to do that because I had a proper clarity of thoughts back then. But it hurts you, obviously. And as Darshana and Kushi had already mentioned, family. Well, my personal first clash with my family happened. I was in my first year, and TEDx happened in Trivandrum. I stay at Trivandrum, and I got the opportunity to volunteer for TEDx Trivandrum. I had to go to the venue to take care of stuff, and I had this conversation with my family. Like, the conversation goes in a straightforward manner. I would say I want to go to this place, and my father would say no, because I never understood at that time that they come from a pretty conservative background. So you need to understand from their perspective as well. So I would say, I want to go, they'll say no. And then I'll get emotional and I would cry. It took me some time to understand. You have to stand in from their shoes and understand what they feel or what they think. So over a period of time, I will not go into detail regarding the problem, but how to overcome it. You need to make your family members understand that you are capable and mature enough to take responsibility and take care of yourself, and that take time and that takes patience. It took a lot of time for me to convince them, and it's a pretty slow process, and you need to go through that process. You can start by telling them, I'm going to this place, I'll come back at this place, this is what I'm going to do. If you want to give reference that like she or he did that, so I can also do it, it's okay, you go ahead and do it. After you go to certain places, after certain experience, your family members will be able, I'm not generalizing, but I'm very fortunate to have very good support system at home, and both my family members and my friends are totally understanding. So yeah, so over a period of time they were able to understand that I'm capable of doing stuff and I'm able to take responsibility for my actions. So it's a pretty slow process which you need to go through, especially girls, I would say. And this might not sound like a challenge, but I think at the time I still do a lot of internships. You might have to compromise a lot. This is not a girls only issue, but again, if you make up your mind to do a lot of internships, a lot of projects, do a part-time job, etc., etc., along with your studies, you might have to compromise with a lot of other stuff. You might not be able to spend a lot of time with your friends or family, which you need to be prepared mentally. So you need to have the mindset of a hustler if you intend to be a hustler way before being that. And yeah, you need to have a set of people around you. You need to make a set of people around you who is totally supportive of what you do, as rightly mentioned by Kushi, which is possible if you try. As I mentioned, my friends, they do not have a field of interest similar to mine, but they understand and totally support whatsoever I do. They are the first people to come to any of the sessions I take or any of the activities that I do. They are totally supportive, and I'm so happy about that. So it's up to you how you take things forward. So yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So now let's hear from Vamika, ma'am. Ma'am, please.
Yeah, I think a lot of things have been already spoken. So maybe I'll just start with one thing. So uh, along with this experiencing different domains, I also got this opportunity to, observe a lot of cultures. So by cultures, I mean like people from different economic levels and with different values, and the challenges are like quite different for different women. So maybe I am worried about something, but there are a lot of women who don't even have access to certain basic things, and they don't have this opportunity. So everybody is fighting their own challenges, like it could be at different levels, but still everybody is fighting for something, right? So in it's mostly if we want to point out what is common, what we are fighting for is like a little more of independence, and the freedom to do what we like to do. So women in terms of abilities, like of course, like there is nothing much I need to tell. Like women are multi-talented and they are capable of handling administrative positions and all this. But the other side of the story is women also have to have a very active family life, and that is something which they cannot compromise. It's part of the culture, and it's also uh, due to physical reasons, because the most active age is also the most active productive age is used for also for prioritizing the family and also for the career, and that is where a lot of women drop off, even though if they are very well qualified and they have done it. It really doesn't matter to a lot of women, even if they have a lot of qualifications or accolades. After a certain stage, they cannot continue further. So it's like a huge loss, and how this loss can be addressed is like it's not just uh, about the woman's effort itself, but also an effort of the community in terms of sensitizing men about the challenges women will have in terms of emotional connect. Like how does a woman who's well qualified feel when she's dropping off her career, or when something changes in her life, how she is forced to compromise her dreams and all this. So for a guy it would just be a kind of hypothetical situation, because it is never mostly never likely to happen to a guy. And sensitizing this part, it's going to be a huge challenge, and it will require the effort of a lot of women like us who have at least some level of privileges, at least like say we have the privilege to come here and meet other people to share our thoughts. So this is one part. And the second part is understanding our self understanding, as well as sensitizing the women, the both about the fact that a woman's career is more about balance, and it's not just about generating metrics. So it is uh, it may not really not be possible to just have a very productive career and like a fast pace, I did this and after 3 years I achieved this, and it is not just about milestones. So it is women's success is in it is involving a lot of things, and it is very important for you as well to understand that you cannot compromise any of these stages, and you also need to take time off for yourself. And like balancing both, it's still a challenge which all of us are facing, and we are figuring it out. And uh, I think things are better than many years before, and in the years to come, if we carry forward this you know same kind of progressive culture in the years to come, it will be definitely more better. So in terms of other like specific challenges, in terms of competition, you can actually handle to some extent the competition from men. But I have seen in certain situations that women also compete with the same position in a very different sense. It could be because of the fact that the less number of opportunities available and things like that. So this area also needs a lot of sensitization, which can come only through a lot of such women uh, coming together, powerful women coming together and talking about it, and how we can change these things. And how we actually face this challenge is the most important quality of any it's I think it's an innate quality of any girl to have this resilience, or to to some level we can handle the stress a little more better than men. And by resilience I mean like accepting some form of negativity or challenge, and coming back with a positive thing and giving it back in a very different way, and not again we don't bounce back with a negative thing. So this is one quality which we have to nurture, and given the amount of challenges and pressure and negativity in this current world, it's it actually takes some time also to, you have to spend some time with yourself also to nurture this quality of resilience. So this is one thing which I wanted to say. And the yeah, I think I've covered everything for now. I'll continue it next time, in the next question.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So I think now let's have a question and answer session. If the participants wish to ask any of the any questions, you may do so now. You can either unmute yourself or use the chat box.
So hi, I have a question. All of the panelists here right now are very accomplished and successful women. But how did you manage to keep yourself motivated during all this, especially during the pandemic? It took a mental toll on everyone. So what kept you driven, and how did you manage to succeed and stay motivated?
Okay. Okay, so I'll take this. So what keeps me motivated is because I know that I cannot do anything else other than STEM, because every day I wake up, this is what I want to do, and if I don't do this, then I feel myself like I am kind of handicapped and I cannot have a normal life. So that is what is the only thing which actually keeps me running. I want every day, I want more of this in different forms. It could be in any way, but I want to experience more of this, and this is what I wanted to be a major part of my life. So this is the only thing which keeps me going.
Any panelists can add your points now.
So I just wanted to add to what Vamika just said is find something that you love, okay, apart from what you are trying to achieve professionally as well as academically. It's like I was really impressed with the range of hobbies that Vamika was mentioning. So whether it's gardening, whether it's cooking, whether it's yoga, exercise, any art and craft, whatever it is, find one activity where you can completely shut down. I think during the pandemic, more than anything else, our mental health was affected hugely. I'll share my experience. Like I somehow, find it so difficult to even step outside of house, even for small things, because it's just that past 2 years, that's what we have been doing. But slowly and slowly, with as the vaccination rates are increasing and all, we all need to sort of get back to normal life and all. So I would say having a hobby, having a place where you can completely shut down actually helps you recharge and get rejuvenated so that you can go back to your goals and everything. See, one thing with the pandemic that happened was we were overloaded with what, like, information. We had so many webinars and everything. Everybody enjoyed that in first 2 months. Then slowly a digital fatigue set in. We have our phones in hand all the time. We are either scrolling Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or something, and that way our mind is always on. So we just need to take, say 30 seconds just to close our eyes, just sit in a place, just do nothing, just like you're always giving inputs to your mind constantly through your ears, through the visuals that you're seeing. So I think it's really important to just find that time to sit quietly with your closed eyes and just not do anything. So if you do that, you will try this, okay, today after the session. Just don't do anything. Just silent your phone, switch off your laptops, just find a quiet corner in the house and just close your eyes and sit with, um, not thinking. I mean, it's impossible to not think about anything, but just close your eyes and think and just focus on your breathing and make sure that you are, every breath is deeper than the previous one. That's it. Like, so 5 minutes and shut up and then get up after 5 minutes. Trust me, you will feel the peace, and right now with the whole digital media, we have this constant urge to be always on, to always like think, oh my god, I'm lagging behind, oh my god, other people's lives are so perfect, because social media has a positivity bias. So people don't share what is negative happening with them or in their life or talking about it. So that just doesn't happen with you, it happens with everybody, trust me, including me. There were days when I was like, oh my god, everybody is just so happy, why am I so unhappy? So those things are normal. So accept that social media has a positivity bias, and we have to look beyond that, and I have to find a time when I'm keeping myself away from the screen. Other thing I would really like to advise to all the students here is, before you go to bed, about an hour before that, please switch off your mobile phones, your screens, and keep them away. That's one habit I tried to inculcate during pandemic for myself, because I realized that my eyes were hurting all the time. I had this constant headache, and I was not getting good sleep, because our eyes are not so used to seeing so much, extra blue light that comes out of our devices and all. So to put your eyes into sleeping mode, just don't do anything. If you like sketching, do some random sketching, or try to read a book. Even if you don't want to read a book, just lie down there, but don't use your phone. And that itself will reduce a lot of anxiety, and I'm saying it from personal experiences, it has helped me. I started a venture during COVID, and was exhausting my own savings and everything, not thinking about where life is going to take next. And then you constantly keep thinking, oh my god, you could have had a better life, would have had a constant salary and all those things. So I just realized I just needed to take myself away from all of it. So please find that quiet time for yourself. It will go a long way in increasing your productivity, and try to limit your social media usage. It's good to find internships and all those things online and all, but at the same time, think about it. You need to protect your mind too. You can't always be hammering it. You need to give it time to recharge, recover, and repair itself. Okay. So I hope that helps. Thank you.
Can I just add one thing for the motivation part? Good. Like uh, we used to ask a question to our father, like he always used to say ki, find a passion for yourself, like what do you want to do. Yeah, because we used to ask this question जब school में हमसे question पूछा जाता था ना, that what do you want to be in life. So I used to ask my father that how did you decide that you wanted to be an accountant and all that thing. So he shared a story once ki, once I was like, his story was like, once he was in sixth grade, उस time पे government schools में in sixth grade only you had to decide what course basically, what stream basically you want to pursue. So he went to the principal and he asked like, what he wasn't aware what he was aware what science does. He just asked what commerce people does. So he said that you can have your own office, you will be your own you will be on your own boss, and you can have a like a job, you can work independently. So that's what stuck there. And then he said that eventually what he learned was that ki, your passion or your like your job or your profession should be something that you will be doing even if you are not getting paid for it. You will be doing it every single day for expecting nothing in return, because you are doing it for yourself. So if like if STEM is something for you in general, like since there are STEM enthusiasts sitting over there, if you see yourself like pursuing STEM, say reading articles, reading scientific articles, or like communicating science for that matter, that is also a like, very crucial part of STEM in nowadays. Communicating science, what you learn, the like breaking down into layman's language and communicating it to normal people, that's also a part of science. That how you like understand, make it available for the general public. And then you do your own research. It could be theoretical, it could be like running out experiments. And if you enjoy it, and if you like do it every single day, if you want to do it every single day, and you feel a urge within yourself, like Vanika ma'am also said that she feels something that if she hasn't like done something related to STEM in that particular day, her day is wasted. So if you are having that urge from within, that's enough to give you motivation and to keep you running all throughout. And there comes days, as like rightly mentioned by Darshana and everything, that there comes days when you are exhausted, and that happened a lot of time during the pandemic. So one way, like she mentioned, she also suggested this in one of our sessions, like we had a session in Kalpana where we only focused upon like meditation and everything, and that was like really relaxing. And from that only I took one other thing, like meditation is something that doesn't work for me, but some other thing worked for me, and that is like going for a walk on the terrace. So like in the evening around 7:30 p.m, when it's like slightly dark, and just like street lights are turning on, I just move upstairs on my terrace before or after dinner, whatever it suits. And I don't take my phone usually, or if I take, like, I'll just put on some like really mild music and just walk for half an hour or 45 minutes, and just like think, or maybe just breathe and look on sky, and maybe look on trees. So that actually gives a mental peace or satisfaction sort of a thing after a like really exhausting day, because from morning to evening we have classes. In the morning, like from 8:30 our schedule starts, and then we have continuous classes till 4:30. And then if since I was like also working on some certain projects, and I was also engaged with time factor work and other things, so it gets really exhausted. But sometimes it used to happen, like it happened during the pandemic, that I'm sitting at my work table at around 8 in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I'm having my breakfast there, and then I'm like like getting up from it around like 8 in the evening. And that like longs for a very long and exhausting day. I had back-to-back meetings. I was like constantly talking or maybe listening. My brain was getting inputs constantly. And after that, having half an hour to myself where I'm just walking or maybe just listening to music really helps to like calm down and put down that anxiety. So that really has helped for me, and maybe like that's something that you can take away if that helps for you too.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So I think there's no more queries. Participants, if you have any queries, you may ask now. Yeah, I think there's no more queries. So thank you, Namita, for that wonderful question. With that, we have come to an end to today's panel discussion. It was indeed a very fruitful discussion, and I hope the audience got some insights into the different careers in STEM and how to create a personalized recipe for life. It was an honor to listen to such distinguished speakers sharing their experiences. Now, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to all the panelists for accepting our invitation and joining us. We would like to thank you by presenting a virtual memento. First, I would like to thank Dr. Darshana Joshi for spending your time with us, sharing your experiences. Thank you so much, ma'am. Next, I would like to thank Ms. Khushi Goel for sharing your valuable thoughts with us. Thank you so much, ma'am. Further, I would like to thank Ms. Arundhati Krishna for sharing your thoughts and for your sincere support. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Nitya.
Last but not the least, I extend my sincere thanks to Ms. Vamika P. for spending your valuable time with us. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Hi.
Now,
thank you also for putting up this.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all the attendees of Empower. Thank you all for making this panel discussion a grand success. Don't let anyone rob you of your imagination, your creativity, or your curiosity. It's your place in the world. It's your life. Go on and do all you can do with it and make it the life you want to live. So, once again, I thank you all. This is me, Nitishri, signing off. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for such an amazing discussion.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
It was nice to interact with you all. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Really good session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for joining in.